Hi friends, today we are going to talk about the pricing strategy. How do you price your products and services and what should be the pricing strategy? Now, profitable pricing is absolutely crucial for your business. It is especially important as price is the number one reason why a customer would come to your website or to your store to buy things. Now, just imagine if you price your products too high, then it would be a discouragement to many customers who are going with value-based pricing and budgets and so on. So your sales volumes might drop. Similarly, if you price your product too low, then your product might be conceived as a cheap product, and ultimately you might not be able to get good margins and reasonable margins to do the business in the long run. So it is quite important that you price your product reasonably and you decide which sort of segment you want to go for, whether you want to go for value-based pricing or you want to focus on the differentiation strategy and go for a premium pricing and so on. Okay. So there are a couple of internal factors which determine the price. So those factors are, for example, the product features itself, the revenue targets that you have, the brand value that you have in your mind, and customer groups and so on. Similarly, then there are a couple of external factors which are, for example, the competitors' product pricing for the similar products that you are selling, demand in the market, of course, economic and other factors. Okay, so you have to consider both internal factors and external factors when you actually put up a price to your products. Now, the legendary Porter, the person who devised a lot of solid marketing strategies. If we go by Porter's pricing strategies, then there are three main strategies in that. But yeah, in the modern age, we can obviously come out with a combination of these, or maybe some different strategy other than these three. But more or less, broadly, traditionally, a pricing strategy can be devised in one of the three ways. So either you go for the cost leadership, wherein your company is focusing on generating uh, value for money. So you keep your prices quite low, and still you provide valued product within that price. Okay, so you're not probably going for or developing a premium product which might cost high to you, and then you have to price it high. Instead, you are actually pricing your products low, and then with that pricing, then you are trying to build up a portfolio of products or services that you can sell to the customer, and the customer should feel value for money for those. And a very good examples of those are, for example, in the UK market as well as in US, and I think globally itself. Primark is one of the top retail chains, mainly for known for clothing and other many other similar products. So their prices are quite low or affordable. So let's not call it as cheap, but yeah, of course, affordable, low and affordable. Similarly, if you go for an e-commerce website and you do start buying something, then there are a lot of portals which actually have very, I would say, reasonable or low pricing. And one of them is the most popular, Amazon. So mostly in Amazon, you would find the products priced reasonably low, and it becomes affordable in the long run. Then the second is differentiation strategy, um, where you create value to your customers by making them ready to pay a premium on the price on the product. So you can talk about your brand value. You can actually put up a number of product features which are differentiated from your competitors, and they look like, and actually they should be having good quality, and it should be perceived a high valued product. So that way you might go for a differentiation strategy, and here the goal is mainly to have a premium pricing on your products. so as to generate more top line as well as bottom line. Okay. Now the third one is a focus strategy where you only focus on a very niche area. So for example, even in any big e-commerce market, you might still want to focus only for, say, kids wear, that to for kids between, say, 5 to 12 and so on. So those are sort of niche areas, and then you can obviously bring niche in the form of either location, and so you want to focus only in the North American market or in the in India, for example, and so on. Okay, so we just understand that broadly these are the broad factors that you can consider when you price your products. Now, why? Now there's one important thing here which we are going to discuss in this video, which is why there is a need to increase prices over a period of time. So whatever pricing strategy you go for, whether you go for cost leadership or differentiation or focus, still there is a need to increase prices consistently over a long run. And why that is necessary is to make sure that, first of all, your revenue doesn't decrease. And the second is your margin doesn't decrease. Okay. So imagine that you are selling your products and services valued at, say, $100 or maybe $1,000, and out of that, so let's assume $1,000, and then you keep on selling, but you don't increase your prices. But remember that there is inflation in the market, which essentially means that if you don't increase your prices over a long run, say 5 years, and every year you are doing just $1,000 of business, then if you don't increase the prices, then you will be ending up with $5,000 of business in 5 years. While if you consistently say increase your prices every year by the inflation rate, which is 5%, so every year you will get 5% more revenue. It should be reasonable, of course, without having a decrease in the sales volume, but assuming that it's small increment every year, just consistent with the inflation rate, not more than that, not maybe less than that also. So keep a consistent pricing, and then obviously you'll have 5% more every year, which will add up to, say, 250, 300 pounds more in a period of 5, 6 years. So that would mean that your top line would be consistent and growing, while it will become stagnant if you don't increase the prices. Second point here is the margins, right? So if there is inflation in the market, then understand this point also, that the cost of producing those goods and services, the cost of raw material, the labor costs, infrastructure costs, the machinery costs, and so on, would be increasing by at least the inflation rate, assuming they are going up by the inflation rate. Then ultimately every year you'll end up with less margin if you don't increase your prices. So if you keep your prices same, but every year the cost is increasing, so your margins, the profit or the bottom line. So previously we talked about the top line or revenue or sales, while now we are talking about the bottom line. So your bottom line will also get affected. And if you think about a business which has its top line going down or being stagnant, and its bottom line going down or being stagnant, going down in this case mostly, then your business will lose its value over a period of time. Hence, it is extremely important to increase prices or keep on increasing the prices, at least to keep up the pace with the inflation rate. Okay, so now there's a case that it, because we feel like, as an entrepreneur, even as an entrepreneur, I feel sometimes that it's not prudent to increase the price for now. Maybe the customer, what will the customer think, and so on. So there are a lot of factors that we will consider now. We'll talk about those now. But how do you convince your customers, or how do you make your customers feel comfortable even with increase in your prices? But just remember that if you don't increase, then it's a very costly affair. It's going to hurt your business like anything. So it's better to increase the prices with whatever strategy you are following, whether you are value based or you are focus based or differentiated, whatever. Okay, so we'll talk about very critical points here now. that how you can actually increase the prices consistently, and without having a bad impact on your sales or a bad impression on your customers. So first of all, you need to be honest. So communicating with honesty is extremely important. So if you are increasing your prices, just call it a price increase. Do not call it like an adjustment or a change or a temporary measure or like that. So just call it, it's you are increasing your price. Okay, call it. Okay, I'm increasing my prices. Okay. Second, give reasons. So now when you are increasing the prices, obviously the customers would at least discuss amongst themselves or think, always think about why the company has increased the price by this much, why the chicken curry that used to cost, say, £10 before in a restaurant in the UK, it's costing now £15. What happened, right? So give the reasons, and very straightforward reasons that you can definitely give and that they exist. So you should make sure that you don't give wrong reasons. But inflation is normally quite important here, because if the cost of raw material and the labor costs increase and so on, then how would you obviously make your product in the same price, right? In the same cost. So you need to understand that you need to communicate, you need to give the reasons, whatever they are. If this is due to inflation, or there might be supply chain interferences or interruptions, so communicate that. Then overall rising costs, and say pandemic was one of the big events that happened over the last few years. So you need to give the reason why you are increasing the prices. Now, three things that you can definitely do is, so let's call it as a third point, where you try to increase the actual value with added products or services. So you maybe put up a toy in your crisps that you are selling, and then increase the price. Okay, so the toy would probably cost one fifth of what you are actually increasing. So in short, you are still you are increasing the value of the product, the price of the product, but you are also making sure that you are giving some additional value to the customer. Okay, so that makes them comfortable. Be customer centric. So think from customers' point of view. If you have, for example, if you are increasing the prices too often, the customer would not like to buy your product, right? And similarly, think from their point of view, like how they would perceive the overall value of your product if you are going to increase the price, or maybe understand the customer's situation. So for example, your target segment might be say young generation, and then young generation probably might be suffering due to some specific issue, or for example, if you're targeting some students in, say, a country like UK, and then if UK is having the student intake pretty less because of the exchange rate fluctuations, or because the cost of like university fees has increased and so on. So obviously your target segment is a bit becomes a bit differentiated in that sense, and ultimately it's a problem, right? So you need to communicate your just not just communicate, but also think from customer centric point of view. Like if a student is there and you are renting your accommodation to them, then you need to think from a student point of view, right? So if you are increasing a price, you need to make sure that the students are able to pay that increased price, or what they will think about it, right? If your place is near to the university, and you are trying to misuse the situation, the student might still think that, okay, maybe I'll not stay here, I'll move down further distance from the university, but at least I'm going to pay less price, right? So think from customer point of view. Fifth point would be add premium priced products if you can. Then sixth point would be offer multi-product packages. So try to bundle your packages or products together, and then put up some offer around that. So even if you increase the price, say at least for the initial period to make the customers comfortable, try to bundle up your products and say, okay, I'm giving three. If you buy three, I'm giving two with 50% pricing and so on. Right, and the overall price of those five products would be more than what they used to be before, right? So that way you also serve your purpose, but at the same time, you are giving some leverage, some offers to the customers to make them comfortable and get used to the pricing that you are having your product on, right? Give plenty of notice. So you can't just go ahead and increase one fine day. Tell the customers, maybe put up a board in your store, and if it's an online thing, then you can put up some online promotion on the social media and so on, saying that your prices for these products or services are going to increase from XYZ date, right? So that way the customers have an expectation, and even if they want to use your service or buy your product before that date, they can quickly do that, which will increase a bit of increased sales. And then over a period of time, the customer knows it that, okay, yeah. So if somebody talks about, oh yeah, and the price of the milk in this superstore has increased, the customer will say, yeah, it was about to increase. They had put up a notice. I know, yeah, it's fine, right? And if imagine that you don't put up a notice and just open fine day, the customer finds that anything, for example, a gallon of milk is costing, say, £2, and then all of a sudden it's costing £4, then they will be shocked and they might straight away think, okay, let me go to another superstore, right? So avoid those sort of surprises. And lastly, point number 8 would be try to make the pricing contractual if possible. So, for example, if you are putting up your place for rent, then just say in your rental or the lease agreement, rental agreement, just say that, okay, the prices will be subjected to 5% increase every year, right? Or for example, if you are a telecom company, you're selling mobiles or the calling cards and so on, then just if it's a 2-year contract, just say, okay, after the contract, the price will increase by XYZ, or every year the price will increase by XYZ. So make this all consistent. So increase your prices consistently, but not too often, not too slow. For example, if Netflix one fine day increases its subscription price from 6.99 to 11.99, as it happened, I mean, it happened in UK. Not all of a sudden, but yeah, it happened in stages. And a £1 or $1 increase in the subscription price will not hurt people that much, and the customer would obviously not just go ahead and unsubscribe just because it was costing £8. The subscription price was £8, and now it's £9, right? So they will not straight away, you know, defy you or be disloyal to you. So they will still continue. Maybe they might have some feeling during that period, but yeah, that's better than actually not increasing the prices or increasing the prices all of a sudden. Okay, so understand all these points and then have a good strategy to price your products correctly, consistently, and be honest about communicating that, and keep a tab on your financials. Make sure that your top line doesn't get hurt. You make sure that your bottom line also doesn't get hurt, and it continuously grows. And in the lean periods, it should be consistent. At least it should not go down. Okay. So happy pricing and happy entrepreneurship. Run your business well. Thank you. Cheers. See you in the next video. Bye bye.